Warahmatullah, everyone. So we have started the seerah of Yusuf عليه السلام and the divine wisdoms and the story as it is mentioned Ahsanul Qasas in the Quran. So we will be diving deep into it and uh, taking out points, taking out the diamonds, taking out the gold out of the story and the morals of the Quran, and then try to implement it in our lives, our daily lives, as it is a applied Sira session. So we will try to get the message from the Quran, what it's trying to tell us. And Brother Samir is with us today, and he's going to present the verses. The part one has already been done last week, and we have done it until I think verse number 18, and now we are
Up to verse
starting.
18, yeah. I
Yeah,
take over from here, inshallah.
yeah.
Uh,
So
so,
we'll start.
okay. Rabbi Shali Sidri Visirli Amri Wahlul Uqdata min Lisani Yafqahu Qawli. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So today, Yusuf alayhi salam, second session, second part, we're going to represent. So just to make you understand, all of you who joined today, it's not a storytelling session. It's no story listening session. It's more like a conversation between all of us. Uh, I'm leading the conversation, obviously, and I'm going to be the one reading the verses from the Quran and give my opinion and my reflection. And then anybody can ask a question. They can raise their hand if they want to give their opinion. Feel free to do it. Just be a part of the session. Let's not be just an audience or anything. So let me give you a little bit overview from the last week what we did. We started the Yusuf alayhi salam story. I'm just going to give you the rough overview. We're not going to go into much detail on the back end one. So if anybody was missing, they can go to the channel and just listen to the first recording. So Yusuf alayhi salam, the reason of the this revelation on the Prophet Muhammad was Prophet Muhammad peace be upon is because Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him was going through the similar hardship like Yusuf alayhi salam was going through, and he was very sad because he's lost his missus Hazrat Khatija radhiyallahu anha and his beloved uncle Abu Talib. So to comfort him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him the story of the Yusuf alayhi salam and classed it as Ahsan al-Qasas. So Ahsan al-Qasas mean is the best story, right? Moving forward, so Yusuf alayhi salam saw a dream and he was given a good news out of his 11 brothers as a prophecy. So he explained that dream to his father, and then his father said, "Do not mention to any of your siblings because they might not like you." So why they will not like him is because they were already jealous because his father used to pay more attention to Yusuf alayhi salam as compared to the other siblings. So Yusuf alayhi salam was already a target by his own brothers. Because they were already jealous and they wanted to get attention of their father. So they plotted a plot against him, and then they take him away by the permission of their father, which he didn't want to send him, but he had to send him somehow for some of the reasons. So he was thrown to the well, and then his brothers came back and told their father, like, we lost the Yusuf because the wolf eaten him. And then they showed the shirt of the Yusuf alayhi salam was stained of the blood onto it. And Yaqub alayhi salam totally denied them and confront them and said, look, this is not true, and your nafs actually betrayal you, and then because of your nafs, you actually done something really wrong to yourself. And then after that, he said he asked for the Sabrun Jamil. He did a Sabrun Jamil. Why Sabrun Jamil is because he could have taken a lot of action against his own sibling, but he chose to have a sabr and trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a group of the traders came along and set out their water scout, who let down his bucket. He cried out, "Oh my goodness, he's a kid." They stashed him away as merchandise, and Allah was fully aware of what they were up to. Now, it's a very painful thing here. So we're gonna start from where the Yusuf al Islam now. So there was a people used to go past to the well, right? They were the traders. They used to go past that area before they go to Egypt. Now one of them actually poured down put his bucket down, and then trying to put the water up, and then he cried out. Now the question is, he cried out. I'm not sure if it's the right word here, but he screamed out or whatever. Oh my goodness, the kid. So he's screaming, there's a kid in there. They stashed him away as merchandise. So stashed him away as a merchandise. So when we do merchandising, why do we do merchandising? So we publicly put merchandising for something for the sale. Now, why is said here he was merchandised is because Egyptian has a tradition of the slaveries, and they used to merchandise the slave as we merchandise in the current times, like a clothing or like daily life using stuff like could be anything. So Yusuf al Islam was merchandised as a slave, so somebody can come and pay his price or just put the bidding on. They used to do a bidding, so whoever on the basis of the strength, and they used to even explain to the people like this slave is good in that kind of sectors. So Yusuf al Islam was merchandise, and um, and Allah was fully aware of what they were up to, and Allah knew everything what they wanted to do there and what they were actually up to. So Miss Brother Zain, we discussed one point here. Do you remember?
So uh, I will try to remember, but what's coming in my mind is that slavery existed in that ancient times also, even in the times of Yusuf alayhi salam.
Yes.
And I don't think the slavery or any other thing we have discussed in any other prophets yet. Do you
Mm-hmm.
do you get anything in your mind regarding?
I remember now. I remember now. So basically, put yourself in a situation of the Yusuf alayhi salam, and Allah has given you a sign that He going to give you some high rank. Allah has given you a good news, but the way we look at this story, the way Yusuf alayhi salam going to face the hardship, it doesn't look like it was a good news in his dream, because since he saw the dream, everything going wrong in his life. First, he was trapped by his own brother and thrown into the well. After that, now he's been taken out by the traders, and then he's been merchandised. So put yourself standing in a place, and then people come in and bidding on you. Especially, it's really worse for the woman to think about that way. But as a man, it's more shameful, like in terms of like somebody gonna pay my price to make me a slave. So I'm like a more like a product. I'm not a human. So that's the lowest rank human can feel like he's been used as object for the trading, like for selling, and then he's gonna basically serve whoever's gonna whoever gonna pay his price. So that's gonna be his master. So it's more like an animal thing. Slavery is like more like an animal thing. But what Yusuf al Islam doing? He just not even saying anything. He could have just tell like I'm the son of the Yaqub al Islam. Do you even know who I am? What dream I had? But he's so quiet and calm and trusting the plan of Allah, and he's not even questioning it yet. So, but Allah is actually keep comforting him, like he knows everything. He's watching him, because in the previous ayah, Allah already comfort him in the well that we are aware of, and we will give you a full opportunity to take a revenge, whatever you want to. I think Sister Rubina raised the hand up. Sister Rubina, you can unmute your mic. Okay.
I think she's not around. I just wanted to add something that Yusuf alayhi salam and Yaqub alayhi salam. It's very strange that the attitude of both of them, both of these esteemed prophets, the attitude is very strange. Like Yusuf alayhi salam has gone, a bear has eaten him, but he's not giving any strange. He's not behaving like a normal person, like a person does. And the Quran says, "Fasabrun Jamil." He has done the sabr al Jamil. And Yusuf alayhi salam, he's in the well. People come and take them out, and they have made him merchandise. I think there's something different going on over here.
Yeah, can I just say what I've picked up?
Yeah,
Is
please.
that we're now looking at Yusuf al-Islam's character as a whole. So he's not speaking because that was in his character, and Allah is the one who created him like that. He hasn't defended himself from the beginning, you know. And as far as sabr goes, as in Surah Al-Asr, it says even if you're in a state of injustice, or your sabr has to be on a basis of justice, even if it means that you enter into hardship, you know. So it is a highest form of sabr, but it's not always that at that moment it's going to be in your favor. Sometimes You just have to pass that moment because Allah has other plans for you. And as far as Yusuf alayhi salam's character is that he's very soft spoken, or he doesn't even speak up. So he's not going to speak up for a long time. You know, he didn't defend himself when his brothers took him. He didn't have an opinion. He didn't have a say, his likes or dislikes, whether he wanted to go with his brother. And, you know, he's in the well, he's been taken out, he's seen as a commodity in those days, you know, where everything was subject of business. So everything was subject of buying and selling, from animals to human beings. So it's the norm of the day, but also his Yusuf alayhi salam's own character. He's just not, maybe by the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's not given a voice at that present time. So everything is, the revelations are what's happening to him and around him. That's the way I see it.
Jazakallah, sister. Okay, Zain, if anyone's don't want to add anything more, just we can move to the next one, please.
There was a question in the chat that what was the age of Yusuf alayhi salam at this time?
I think you knew it, Zain. Can you mention, please?
Brother Hamza has answered the question, and he says that he might be in his teens, as his older brother easily overpowered him and threw him in the well. So what we think is that after some verses later, Allah says that Falamba Balaga Ashuddha. So when he reached to the mature age or to the puberty age. So this all thing happened before that. But we don't know which age is the exact puberty age, or which age was Yusuf alayhi salam made like balagha ashuddha. So we reckon that it could be like 12, 13, 14, between somewhere like that.
Sure, but the Bible mentions 17 age,
Oh yeah,
I didn't want to mention it because it's not from the Quran. But
yeah,
Bible mentioned he was 17 of the age at the time.
Bible mentions.
Yes. So let's move on to the next one, please. And they sold him off below market rate, just a few coins, as they had become keen to let him go. Okay, now here he was sold on the cheapest, even below the market rate. First, he was used as a product. So imagine the humiliation. First of all, just to be sold as a slave, and then below market rate, that means he's useless for them, right? So just a few coins, as they had become keen to let him go. There was one reason. First, because there's a trading receipt for the slave when you buy it. When you even selling it, you have to show that trading receipt, that where did you get that slave. Okay, so they had nothing because they found him in a well. So they were so keen to get rid of him because they didn't even know his real value. So here he was sold the cheapest below the market. Now we have to pay attention here. Something was sold materialistically cheaper than the market rate, but we need to see the value of him in the eyes of Allah. Allah knew his exact value. The people didn't even know who they're going to sell for, who they're going to sell now in the cheapest. In the future, he's going to be the king of the Egypt. They don't even know he's the prophet of the Lord. When they will find out, how they will feel. Because in the Quran is detailed mentioned, but in the Bible, it's mentioned, the person actually sold him. When he saw the Yusuf al-Islam, he became a king. He stopped pulling his hair and he was rubbing his face into the mud. That, what did I do? I have committed this crime, like selling somebody who was the prophet from the God. So sometimes people cannot value us correctly. Even in a real life, people don't even know our value. So we shouldn't be losing our heart because somebody is not respecting us the way we expect, but we shouldn't be expecting from the people anyway. But always remember, try to see your value in the eyes of Allah. Now, Yusuf al-Islam sold for below the market price, but what dream Yusuf al-Islam had from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already. So that class his value. So Yusuf al-Islam was not even bothered. He still didn't speak out. He could have said, do you even know who I am? What are you even guys doing? He stayed quiet, calm, and trust the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyone can add if they want to.
Anyone wants to add something? Yeah, Zoya, please come. Please unmute and share your thoughts.
Hello, can you hear me?
Ji, continue,
Yes.
please.
Yeah, I think what the point that you added about valuing someone, that's so true. I just wanted to acknowledge that sometimes people are devalued in their life. They're not valued enough. um, and what that does is that obviously affect, because they are human beings, that does affect their self-esteem at some point. But what you said is so beautiful, that you shouldn't be you shouldn't be finding your value from human beings, because I'm sure in everyone's life there comes a point where they are not valued enough. They are looked down, and then Allah puts them on that pedestal, or when they pass, when they pass that test, or where they were insulted, humiliated, devalued. um, then when they pass that test, then Allah obviously puts them in that position where the other person then starts, regretting. And that's what happens with Yusuf alayhi salam as well. So throughout his journey, first he was devalued by his brothers, and then he was sold for a very cheap price. So they didn't even know who they were selling off. And then later on, whatever you will cover that happens in Egypt, in the minister's home, he's put into jail, treated like a criminal. So people didn't know his true value uh, in the material world, and also in the eyes of Allah. So I just wanted to sort of acknowledge that point.
Thank,
Jazakallah, sister.
thank you, Zoya.
Thank-
Sister Snover, raise the hand up.
Yes, I just want to add that he, like, based on his age, he was like a true believer. Whatever position Allah puts him, he was learning, he was just calmly, like, going through with that. So I believe he was a very true believer. I mean, raised well, and then he has true, like, trust on Allah.
Jazakallah khair.
As the story move forward, we will see that how he learned from everything, even in the well. He learned everything.
Jazakallah khair. Brother Zain, can you move to the next one, please? And the man who bought him in the Egypt said to his wife, make sure his life here is respectable. There is a good chance he will be of use to us. We might even adopt him. And that is how we gave Joseph firm footing in that land. And it was to that we teach him some of the meanings behind all kind of speech. And Allah is in complete control of his own matters. Yet, most people do not know. Now, so he was sold for the cheapest one, but the person actually bought him. He had a very high position in the Egypt, right? So he brought his wife, and what's the first word he said to her? Make his life here is respectable. Make sure his life here is respectable. Now we need to go into more details. So when you buy some slave, okay, what purpose is you buy the slave for? To make, so you bought a slave, so you're going to keep him as a slave. You don't bring some slave to your house and say make his stay here comfortable, or give him a more respect. We all know in the old tradition, the slave used to be mistreated the worst. They had no human rights. They used to be treated worse than the animal, right? But here, this man is actually speaking to his wife, telling his wife that make sure his life here is respectable. There's a good chance he will be of use to us. What kind of use? I mean, think about it. Slaves are mainly used for the physical work, and could be used for any other kind of things. But he's actually giving her a hint. But it's not him who softened the heart of that guy. Who changed the mind of his guy is obviously Allah. Allah is looking after all the matter of the Yusuf al Islam and change his heart for the sake of Yusuf al Islam. And even being a high rank person, buying a slave. So one is a top rank and the other one is a slave rank, is a bottom rank. So the high rank actually arranging the thing for the bottom rank, where he bought Yusuf al Islam for his purposes, for his slavery. But in here, the speech he's giving to his wife makes totally sense. That is not him. That is Allah is actually changing the mind and the heart of him. So, and even he said, we might even adopt him. Now, back in the days when you adopt somebody, you adopt it as a real child. So, what kind of respect Allah straight away after a small hardship for the Yusuf alayhi salam? I'm saying small for him because as per as his standard, not for our as a normal human standard. We if that happens to us, we lose the hope to live a life. We may even suicide and we just say, "Oh, I'm humiliated. I don't even want to live." But even after the small hardship for the Yusuf alayhi salam, Allah start giving him a good news now. So he actually even planning to adopt him as a son. So as soon he adopt him as a son, Yusuf alayhi salam rank goes to equal to him, because his rank goes to his son, and people will treat him accordingly just because of the rank of him. But is Allah already transferred the power, started to transfer the power to Yusuf alayhi salam in this way, right? And that is how we gave Joseph firm footing in the land. So Allah actually gave him a firm position already here, and it was so that we teach him some of the meanings. So when Allah said that we give him a firm footing in that land, and then straight away Allah said it was so that we teach him some of the meanings behind all kind of speech. Now, what kind of speech there? So speech is about the dream interpretations. The magic was at the peak there, and the dream interpretation was used to be get done by the people who used to look after the temple there, and they used to do the black magic to get this kind of interpretation out. So now what Allah said exactly makes sense, because if as a slave, they don't teach a slave this kind of things. Slave job is like a slavery job. Now, because he become a son, because he already has the intention to adopt him as a son, then they will spend on him in terms of they will teach him a different skills. Now they think they teaching Yusuf alayhi salam a different skills, but actual skills coming from Allah, the right interpretation, the right knowledge. And it's only possible when he has a high rank. So he's got the rank, he's got to the right place with the help of Allah. And now it's time for learning. So he can go to the top people, because these priests, all the priests do the dream interpretation. They away these high rank people. They come under them because they get a funding from them. They get all the money, salary, and everything from them. And then Yusuf alayhi salam obviously will not learn from those people, but it's a more like a correction. But physically, like to make sense to the people, he has to be start at some point. So he will understand what they're doing, and when Allah give him a right interpretation, he knows already this is no magic. This is the more like a holy from my Lord. So that up to here, the speech, and Allah is in complete control of his own matter. So Allah acknowledged here again, I'm in a fully control all my matters. So whatever I want to do, whatever way I want to do, it looks impossible to you, don't worry, just have a faith on me. It will go my way, the what I've already decided. So what Allah decided already for Yusuf alayhi salam to be a king of the Egypt. Prophecy, because all the prophets, every single prophet came to this world. They at the end or in the beginning or whatever, they become a leader of that nation, no matter what, except Isa alayhi salam, because he was plotted to be killed. Now, my question to the everyone listening, whose situation is relevant, very close to Yusuf alayhi salam about the adoption? Who was the other prophet was adopted by a high rank person?
Musa alayhi salam
Yes.
by the
Musa alayhi
Pharaoh.
salam was raised in the Pharaoh house. And just to be clear, in the Yusuf alayhi salam, there is no Pharaoh. There was just a king. Pharaoh came way after that. Okay, and Allah is complete control of his own matters, yet most people do not know. This is really sad, because Allah said no, most of the people don't know. When he said most of the people, it's very scary thing, because apply on yourself. we most of the time when we go into a hardship or something, we always try to find a solution from like there's a very big tradition in Pakistan because I was raised there. So I know like Peer Fakir, like Taweez. Yes, Allah gonna do it, but this is gonna help me too, right? We always second the Allah. We always bring a second option. We always bring Allah as a second option. So think about yourself. Don't have to mention. Whenever we get to the hardship, how many times we said to ourselves for in a first instinct that Allah will help me no matter what. We always go for first for the resources ourselves, like, oh, my brother may help me, my sister may help me, my friend may help me, oh, I know that high rank guy, he may help me. And then after that we say inshallah, if he helps me it will happen. So Allah was a second option. I'm not trying to offend anyone if somebody believe that one, that kind of stuff, but I'm just trying to give my opinion. If anybody don't like it, you don't have to be agree with me, but I'm just giving my opinion as I listen to your opinion and respect it. But in my opinion, we always think Allah in a second option. We never think Allah in a first option. And we even try to, even when it delays for longer, our hardship continues. Then we start going to this kind of peer and fakir who does black magic and whatever they do, they class some nuri ilm or whatever on that basis. And they say, oh, yes, Allah has given me a hikmah. Allah is not doing your thing, but it can be done through me, though. Makes no sense at all. Totally, it makes no sense to me. So in here, this is another example of what Allah said. Most of the people don't even know. So they think the other people has a control, even like do some kind of work or just achieve something in my life. I think it was done by me. I don't even understand, or I don't even know. There may be so many people out there who done way hard work than I did, but they still don't get or achieve that kind of stuff, which I achieved in a less time. Because maybe Allah was happy with me, or maybe more angry with me, because Allah gives you so many things. Whether he sometimes he's happy as a nemat and sometimes as a zehmat, right? So it could be a blessing or it could be a punishment to grant you something you want desperately. So my opinion completes here on this one. Anyone has an opinion or just want to add on something, feel free to add, please.
I have a question. Allah says, "Alladhi ishtarahu min Misr." So, is this Misr the same Misr as today, Egypt?
Brother Zain, to be honest, I'm not the right person for this one because geographically I haven't even done my research onto this one. I think we had a discussion about this one. If anyone can actually highlight to us if they have a knowledge. If not, then we have to actually look into this.
I think Sister Khazima could do something for it.
Sure.
Yes, about it, Ibn Ashur has mentioned in his tafsir. I have not any kind of results yet, but inshallah I will shed some light in a later session. But just for your information, there is something about Egypt in tafsir Ibn Ashur.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a translation, English translation, and they've translated Misr as Egypt. I mean, that's as far as it goes to English translations of the Quran.
Yeah. And the second thing that just struck my mind is that Allah mentions وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. So Allah is praising and it's discussing in the praiseworthy position that this مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ, that establishment in the firm footing in the land is a good thing. So we should also think that establishment in the land and gaining power in the land is a good thing. That's a praiseworthy position. And likewise, Allah mentions for the Zulqarnain, inna makkanna lahu fil ard wa ataynahu min kulli shay'in sababa in Suratul Kahf. So this makkanna li Yusuf and makkanna li Zulqarnain, this all is presented in a praiseworthy position and not in a negative position. So I think it gives us another indication towards gaining power in the world. What you say?
That's very true. That's very, very true. Gaining a
Yes.
power. Sorry, speak, sister. Whoever's speaking.
Yeah, I agree with the brother. Because this in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, what the lesson that I can see is that Yusuf alayhi salam was the first one to whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted a power in an other country. We know that Egypt was not the homeland of Bani Israel, but in the whole story of Yusuf alayhi salam, we see that how patient was he, and he didn't lose his iman and his values. Of course, he's a prophet, but uh, uh, it never ever he lose any kind of the values. So it's a bigger lesson, and Allah is granting him power in the reward, in his reward.
Jazakallah khair. Brother, can you move to the next one, please? Because we're running out of the time. Then, when he came of age, we gave him sound judgment and great knowledge, and this is how we reward those who do good. So, certain age when he reached, yeah. So this one is Allah mentioning about the final age. Obviously, we gave him a sound judgment. He was very good into doing the case judgments. So this in the like any kind of dispute between the people, and he used to have a very, very good trick which Allah acknowledged. Allah taught him, right? And this is how we reward those who do good. So you see, even in the current times, the judge who is listening to the dispute or everything, they always have a respect in the society. Everyone look at them and in a very good way, like, and they get the automatically natural kind of respect if they are honest judge. Like, we hear so many times that judge is in the court today and he's very honest and he is very fair, and he go deep down into the cases, and then he gives the conclusion and a decision, and he's very fair always, right? So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already teach to Yusuf alayhi salam after the certain age. Let's move to the next one, please. So for the previous one, Allah said we do reward to the people who do good. So having the respect in the society, that's the biggest reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we all know that respect and the zillah, like humiliation, both come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But to izu man tasha wa tuzillu man tasha. And the woman whose house he was in tried to have him give himself to her. She made sure to lock all the doors and said, "Get over here." He said, "I cling to God for safety. My master has made my life good here." Those who do wrong will never get what they want. So we all know what we're talking about here. Okay. So this is the incident between the same woman who bought Yusuf alayhi salam. Her husband bought Yusuf alayhi salam, actually. Yeah. So this is the wife of that person. So what happened when he reached to the certain age, when he's a grown man now. So Yusuf alayhi salam, just to go into context, he was very good looking man. On the top, when you have a very good personality, speaking skills, and more knowledgeable, that makes you more very, very attractive in the society and stand you out. So here the situation is that woman planned, because she fell in love with Yusuf alayhi salam, and then she, obviously I'm not going to mention the name because Quran doesn't mention the name of that woman, but biblical, like, or some Talmud kind of, it's mentioned Zuleika, but in Quran there's no name mentioned. If I'm wrong, please correct me. So all the women who has house, it was in tried and have him. So she actually had a bad intention about Yusuf alayhi salam. So she tried on him, and first she locked the door. Right. So Yusuf alayhi salam, obviously he was knowledgeable, he was a prophet. Allah gave him so much hikmah. He was very intellect himself. So he knew the intention of that woman is not right. So when she locked the door, it's a clear sign for him. And then she said to him, like, "Get over here, come to me and give yourself to me," which means we all know it. I'm not going to go into detail here. He said, "I cling to God for safety." Now, what we discussed in the previous ayah, when I said, when we get to the problems or we fall into any kind of trouble, we don't we don't talk like this, like, "I cling to myself to Allah help." We always trying to find a solution ourselves first, and then seek the help of Allah. So where Yusuf alayhi salam clearly said, I cling to God for safety. My master has made my life good here. Now, Yusuf alayhi salam showing a gratitude. First time he mentioned, even he didn't even mention about any hardship. He straight gone to the his comfort, what Allah has given him. Like he's showing a gratitude, like my master is my master who made my place here comfortable, made my life good here. So who else said this sentence in the prophets? If nobody knows, then I can continue, but if anybody knows, please feel free to say it.
What's the question again?
So who said this thing? I cling to God for safety. My master has made my life good here. Is the same sentence was spoken by another prophet.
Inna Rabbi ahsana maswaya.
It was Musa alayhi salam. When Pharaoh played a trick, psychological trick to him. He said, do you remember I raised you here, I adopted you, I raised you here, and I gave you the comfort of the life. You raised by me, and now you actually going against me. So Musa alayhi salam said the same thing. It wasn't you who raised me, who adopted me. Do you not remember? You had a plan to kill every single baby at the time. And I was born on the same year, which is supposed to be killed the babies, where my Allah actually send me to you and change your mind and a heart. So it's the similar situation, like
Because in
Yusuf
the
alayhi
previous verse, it was mentioned that he asked his wife to make himself comfortable. There was the same word maswa,
salam.
and now here Yusuf alayhi salam is saying Rabbi ahsana innahu Rabbi ahsana maswaya. So he is my Allah, he is my master that has made my life good over here, has made my life comfortable here. And this is not you who is making it comfortable, as you were trying to say previously, but it's my God, it's my Rabb that has made it comfortable.
The reason Yusuf alayhi salam said this is because he knew that woman is actually trying this on him, is because she thinks we are the one who actually raised him and gave him a good life here. So before even she played that trick to him, he already acknowledged, don't even think for a second, whatever you did to me, it was you. It was my Lord who made my life good here in your own place. I owe you nothing. I owe you nothing which you can actually ask me to do in return this. So obviously, when people play psychological tricks, I done this for you, I done that for you, now do this something wrong for me. So he knew this woman is powerful. He knows that she's the wife of one of the top-notch guy here, right? And now she can even try to emotional blackmail me, like, do you know how many favors we have given you? Because I'm your master. Whatever I say to you, you have to do it. So first he said, my master is, he said, I cling to God for the safety. So acknowledge his master is God, Allah. And my master made my life good here. So all the favor you think in your mind you have done on me, it's not you, it's my master did it. Those who do wrong will never get what they want. And then he acknowledged her, whatever your intention is, it's wrong intentions, but whatever kind of wrong intentions you have for me, right, they will never get what they want. He acknowledges you're not getting this. So it's an intellect way to refuse something, right? So Yusuf al-Islam clarified her head straight away. Okay, so now think about it. Yusuf al-Islam has to be a king of the Egypt. Now in this situation, it was the easy step to do what the woman wants, and he can get anything in return, a power or whatever, like we do in our normal life. We see some high rank guy asking us to do something wrong, and we don't want to say no to him, because we know if we say no to him, we know we're going to lose the connection, rapport with him, right? And then we can't even use him. So rather than looking at Allah for our success, we look at the people. Like the big guy I have to be in a good connection with this big guy. He asked me to do right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I will do for his sake, because he's going to benefit me in the future. Yusuf al-Islam had the best opportunity just to do what she asking him to do, and then reach to the top automatically, because she was going to do everything for him. So we need to reflect in our lives, not to go how many times we disobey Allah. just for the sake of some small benefit we gain from the people. Any benefit we get from the human in this world is always a small. It's just because Allah said this world is nothing for me. It's a value of zero for me, is even less than a zero for me. But we value it more than the obedience of Allah. So we have to reflect in ourselves that we don't need any powerful person to make us to achieve our goal. Till Allah doesn't want it, it's not going to happen. And if it happens through the wrong way, then you're on the wrong path. Right path always going to be a lot of rejections, lot of calamity, lot of hardship you has to go. If everything is smooth for you, that's not the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the path of shaitan. Now look at the other side. The woman, she is a very high rank, very high notch in the society, rich woman, powerful woman. She was not expecting Yusuf al-Islam to refuse her. What happened when he refused her? Her self-esteem and her confidence broke. Yusuf al-Islam damaged it. And then after, I mean, if he even ask anyone in the society, they will do for her what she wants from Yusuf al-Islam. Right? But she is actually hurt here. Her ego is hurt, her power is gone waste. She can't actually even take a one guy and complete her desire or whatever she wants to, just because the person on the other side is a God-fearing person. So I think my opinion, my reflection ends here. If anyone has any point to make, feel free to make it. But I think the way we're going with the time, I think we have to cut it at some point and then continue with the third session next time, because I don't think we can complete all the verses today.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll do in the part 3 because we need to go deep into the verses. One thing that struck to my mind is over here some translators and some mufassirin, they have mentioned innahu Rabbi ahsana maswaya. My master has made it. Well, right now we have a master kept with capital M, but some have made it with small m, the lowercase, and they have meant it to be the Aziz Misr, that he was the master. But but I think that's not the honor of a prophet, that he would say that uh, that he would say him the Aziz Misr as his Rabb, because nowhere in the Quran any prophet has said anyone other than Allah a Rabb. And Yusuf alayhi salam, even Yusuf alayhi salam hasn't said anyone other than Allah as the Rabb. So
Yeah, prophet never says this.
yeah, the prophet never says that. So there are some verses, there are some translation and tafasir out there which mentions the master with a small m, and Rabbi means the Aziz Misr.
Yeah, that's true. Jazakallah khair. Let's move to the next one, brother. So that was the moment of hidden temptation, a lifelong victory when no one was watching. Yes, the point, that's the one of the biggest point. So Yusuf al-Islam knew no one's watching, but he knew Allah is watching. But the lady didn't obviously had a trust on Allah or no faith on Allah. They used to do idolship, whatever they want to. They have a different kind of gods. But Allah was no watch. Sorry, when no one's watching you. So now the point here, we need to reflect in our life. So we commit sin, we think people not watching, but we always forget. How many times we remember when we committing a sin that Allah is watching? Not many times. So he choose taqwa over desire, honor over impulse, and Allah over sin. True beauty is in his character and true strength in his faith. I think we can discuss this one in the next slide. Next ayah. She wanted him for sure, and he would have wanted her. Had he not already seen his master, convincing proofs. We did it that way to divert evil and indecency from him because he was one of our own purified slaves. Now it's very contradicting here. One thing that we already discussed, Brother Zain, that Allah said she wanted him for sure, but what's the point? And he would have wanted her. So Allah explaining this the Yusuf al-Islam feelings as well, emotions, right? Had he not already seen his master? if convincing proofs, we did it that way to divert evil insincerity from him, because he was one of our own purified slaves. So people think the prophets are default. One thing for sure, the prophets cannot commit sin, but they can do mistakes. This is not a mistake, that was a sin. But Allah still explained the emotion of Yusuf alayhi salam. I don't want to contradict it, but I heard somewhere that Yusuf alayhi salam, if he hasn't seen the sign of Allah, what kind of sign we're talking about here? So he had a dream about the stars in the prophecy. Okay, that's the one of the signs. But I heard from the one of the tafsirs, from one of the scholar. I don't want to mention the name of him, but he said his father used to come in his dream and used to acknowledge him constantly that he is a real prophet, and that was the one of the signs that Allah has already showed him. And a part of that, obviously, he's seen the angel, so he knew he's a prophet. But on the other side, Allah said she wanted him for sure, and he would have wanted her. So that's the normal, like a human thing Allah explaining. It doesn't mean Yusuf alayhi salam wanted to do something with her. So the prophets are the human. So as a human, normal human, that he could have wanted her as well, because this word is in a past intense, right? And he not already seen his master convincing proofs, because he knew he's a prophet and he's purified. And Allah even mentioned and acknowledged at the end, because he was one of our own purified slaves. So like we say, yes, he was a prophet, he can't do the sin. If he commit the sin, he can't be a prophet. So he had one of the sign already there, that he's a prophet. And secondly, he's a purified slaves. He's one of the purified slaves. Brother Zain, you want to add something? I think you made a very good point last time. I totally lost.
Yeah, I just wanted to debunk some false narratives over here, like it is in Talmud or in Bible. There are some narrations that Yusuf alayhi salam also was tempted towards that woman, and he was just about to do some wrong acts, but then Allah then told him that not to do it. So it's very much against this verse, because Allah says, uh, وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَن رَأَى بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ. If he hadn't seen, he would have wanted her. But because he saw the ayat, the burhans of the Rabb, so he didn't wanted her. Uh, that's for sure. And that's why Allah mentioned innahu min ibadina al-mukhlasin, because he was the chosen ones. So all the narrations, all the things, all the biblical narrations especially, they should be just rejected outright if they are against this verse. That's the thing I wanted to share.
Or I think, or rather than the evidence of the past, is at that moment he saw that in it that this was wrong. You know, the difference between right and wrong. The evidence could have been that what she is inclining towards is wrong. So Allah protected him because he saw the difference. That, you know, that because it was wrong, he had to protect himself. It came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the feeling or the knowledge of what is right and wrong. So that could have been evidence at that point.
These are one of them. Also, remember, in the past verses we read, they wanted to adopt him. So she wanted to do something wrong with his own child, not on the real child, but the adopted child. So she was so convinced to do something wrong, without realizing as well that she has a wrong desire for her own adopted child. So that's one of the wrong thing as well. But because of the evil desires, she didn't even think about this stuff, and she continued to keep actually trying to convince him, and she didn't stop. At the end, Yusuf alayhi salam had to run. Let's move on to the next one, brother. They reached to the door, and she tore his shirt from behind, and they ran into her husband at the door. She cried out, "What payback should there be other than jail excruciating torture for someone who wanted to do something vile and shameful to your family. Let's move to the next one. We will discuss this because they all relate to the full conversation. He said, no, she tried to have me give myself to her. Then a witness from her family spoke up. If his shirt happens to be torn from the front, then she's telling the truth and he's a liar. Next one, please. But if it turns out that this shirt is torn from the back and then she lied and he's an honest man. So when he saw his shirt torn from the back, he said, this is yet another example of scheming of your woman. You womanly schemes are truly incredible. Next one. Joseph put all his behind you, and you women must beg forgiveness for your shameful deed, just because you have truly been at fault. Last one. And a group of women in the city start saying the high minister. I think we leave it to the 29. This is the next. We'll start from here next week, inshallah. Let's go back to the first one, please. Now, so we read the whole thing. What happened? So they raced for the door. So now the door was locked, by the way, and there's a plenty of doors. It was a big palace, right? So they both ran to the door, and she tore his shirt from behind. When you're trying to stop somebody from the back, so you hold their shirt and everything. During that race, Yousuf عليه السلام continued to run, to escape, to get it. When he saw her, she's not listening and she's not convinced to stop this. And on the top, obviously, he knew that she's more powerful in terms of this in the society status and everything, and he wanted to get away because Allah even mentioned in the past one that she wanted him, and he would have wanted her as well. So now the situation is getting out of the hand, and now Yousuf عليه السلام just see no escape rather than running away from her. So when they opened the door, then her husband was there. So it's the same guy who bought Yousuf عليه السلام from the merchandising place, right? Now, as soon they reached in front of the husband, she changed the scheme. So she plotted the whole plan, and throw everything on Yousuf عليه السلام and blame him. What she said, what payback should there be? So not even screaming, like crying, like faking it. On top, she asked him to punish him. What payback should out be there be other than jail, executing, torture? Whether he should be put into the jail or he should be tortured. For someone who wanted to do something vile and shameful to your family. Now she playing a emotional trick to Yousuf to her husband, reminding him like Yousuf عليه السلام had a bad intention to do something bad to his family. And obviously he was a very smart guy as well, so he understood the whole scenario, catching him alone with his wife when the door was locked. So he reached to the conclusion now, but he doesn't know who's at the right and who's at the fault. Anyone wants to add anything till we move to the next one? He said, no, she tried to have me. So Yousuf عليه السلام give a statement in his defense. No, she tried to have me give myself to her because she was forcing me. He clearly mentioned she was the one who was trying to do all this. What you're thinking of? Then a witness from her family spoke up. So now she's a high rank woman. Now the people around you, it's very embarrassing. And then on the top, the guy is there, who's the husband of that woman, right? But he stayed calm, and then he's listening to the both side. Now, who's helping Yousuf عليه السلام here is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he's making a situation because Yousuf عليه السلام didn't do anything or disobey the Allah. And now we're on the other side, the woman is strong, right? And we all know the statement of the woman is more powerful than the statement of the man. It's very hard to prove if the woman has a bad intention for the man as compared to the man has a bad intention for women. If any woman say this man has a bad intention for me, the society will believe. But now the case is very difficult here because it's a man on the other side saying that this woman had a bad intention for me. So what happened? Somebody from their own family stood up, and they give a statement that if the Yousuf عليه السلام shirt is torn from the front, then it's definitely Yousuf عليه السلام is at wrong. But if the shirt is torn from the back, then that lady is wrong. So what happened at the end on the number 27, when they checked the shirt was torn from the back. Clearly, Yusuf alayhi salam was at right. Okay, so they go to the conclusion. Get to the next one, brother. Joseph, yes, the next one, please. Put all. Sorry, the back one. Sorry, my bad. So when he saw his shirt torn from the back, he said, "This is yet another example of the scheming of your woman." So he actually, the guy who bought Yusuf alayhi salam, he's talking about his wife. He said, "The scheming of the woman is this is yet another example of the scheming of your woman, you woman, not your woman, sorry, you woman." So he's talking about the woman, like when women trying to trap the man, they can go to any level. They can go to at any level, but she did not actually even think about this could have happened. Why do we think the shirt was torn from the back, or why the shirt was even torn? She could have hold him or anything, but that was done by Allah, because Allah knew when the situations come in front for the judgment, then Yusuf alayhi salam will be proven right. So Allah already arranged the hell for Yusuf alayhi salam to get out of it, because he did not disobey his Lord. Even like think about as a normal human. Sometimes some damage, we think it's a damage, but that's not a damage. Allah is actually doing that damage to get you out something bigger in the future you're going to get into. And that becomes your help at the time of the bigger hardship. It's a similar way Yusuf alayhi salam got the help from Allah already by getting his shirt ripped on from the back. So now the husband of that woman is going against his own wife. And he said, "Your womanly schemes are truly incredible." He's saying in a sarcasm. Obviously, he's not actually admiring her, but he's saying in a sarcasm that the woman's scheme is the worst scheme. That is hard to catch it. But obviously, at the end of the day, Allah is watching everything. So he helped Yusuf alayhi salam up to here. The rest one we will inshallah continue next week on a Sunday. And up to here, anyone wants to have any discussion, opinion, or any question even, if there's a question, if we know expert to answer, we will inshallah look into that one to get you answer in the next session, or possibly we will leave the answer into the group. Feel free to ask the question or any opinion or want to add anything there.
Yeah, I just have something to discuss. There was a question, there was a discussion in the group that why didn't Yusuf alayhi salam confront the Aziz of Misr, or the king of Misr, like Musa alayhi salam did. So by the theme of the story, we come to just get a gist of it, that the society wasn't corrupt, and the Malik of the Misr was not that much corrupt. And you see, Shahida Shahidim min ahliha, like there were like just people in the authority levels, and the people were just ruling justly, and they were not like corrupt as we see in the story of Musa alayhi salam. So I think that's the reason why the society wasn't corrupt, although they were not believers, although they were not the believers in the message of Allah, but they were not also the corrupt people. They were not also the mufsidun or the zalimun. So there were some sinful acts going on there, as evident from the Imra'at Aziz, from that woman. But I don't think the society was as a whole corrupt. What you say?
Yes, that's very true, because the Pharaoh itself was a very cruel and he was corrupt. So he had a similar kind of system which Israel has it today in the current times. So he used to feed some people and give them a top ranks, and then control the whole slavery. Okay, so and he used to when he used to see, so those people used to keep an eye on them. So if anyone going to be a rebellious or going to resist against the Pharaoh kingdom, they used to just kill him or just used to punish him.
Yeah.
So they were really, really corrupt. They were not even doing the idolship. They were even actually corrupt in the society. So there was different law for the different people standard.
Yeah.
And
But
the corruption was at the peak.
Yeah, but we don't see the same scenario over here.
Yes. So these people are very good, right? The only issue in them was idolship.
Hmm.
I have something to add in it.
Yeah, please.
Yes, I think the main thing that the why Pharaoh became Pharaoh, because the enemy of the Pharaoh were not Egyptians. Yusuf alayhi Islam was the first one from the Bani Israel, to whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted a place in Egypt. So after that, when Bani Israel started to reside, became the residents of the Egypt, the Pharaoh was basically the enemy of the Bani Israel, and his main obsession was on the Bani Israel. Egyptians were already Egyptians, and as the brother told, that their main sin was that they were indulged though in idol worship, or might be they will be uh, they will call the Pharaoh as their Rab. But the Pharaoh was basically the enemy of Bani Israel, and from here I came to know the one of the result that I found is that uh, this is this is the point that we need to focus, that Bani Israel were the immigrants in that land, and the Pharaoh was we can say that he's showing his racism. So this is the point that I want to add here. That's it from my side.
I think the pharaohs initially was the people of there was a small group of people in the one of the tribe, and they were like more like a warriors. They used to go kill people and capture the land, right? On the top, they used to do you know what you call jasusi kind of thing, like spy on the people and get information from one place to another to make more money, right? So the pharaoh has a different class. At the time of the Yusuf al-Islam, there was no pharaohs. Yes, they were Bani Israel, uh, even though they were not the fully Bani Israel, because the Bani Israel comes from Yaqub alayhi salam, which will migrate at the time of when the Yusuf alayhi salam become a king, and then his whole family will migrate from that place to Egypt, and then Bani Israel will continue.
Yeah. So at that time there wasn't any Pharaoh.
No,
Or
at the time of Yusuf alayhi salam,
source.
there is no pharaohs
If
in
anyone,
Egypt. In Egypt,
yeah, yeah. If
in
anyone
Egypt.
else wants to add, so please come forward and unmute and please say your thoughts, or otherwise we'll just wind up the session.
Yeah. So if no one's there, then I will wrap up with the last statement for the overview of the whole what we studied today for the current time reflection.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so what we read is the journey from well to the house of the high rank person, and then as soon he got a little bit comfort, he's been given to the place on one of the high rank person after the slavery, and then he's been taught a lot of things there. He learned quite a lot there, and then his struggles start again. But he still did not actually even complain once that I come out from one problem to another one now. I had a peace for some time, like we people say nowadays, or we just seen a good days for a very short time. And now our struggle starts again. We became rich. We got this house for now, and we have to sell it now because we get into trouble. We start complaining every single day. We just we pray 5 times, but we complain 1,000 times to Allah that why are you doing this to us? Why this is happening to me? Because the reason I personally believe, because the standard of success we have made is totally wrong. We believe if we have a peaceful life and a good life in this dunya, Allah is satisfied with us. Allah is happy with us. Where the standard in the eye of Allah is other way around. If Allah likes you and if He start loving you more, He will put you in a more hardship. Every single prophet has faced a hardship for the rest of their life. They had not even a peaceful day. They had a hardship every single day to resolve something, to face something. Even our own Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he fought 27 wars in his life. He gone through a starvation. He lost his wife in his life. He lost his child in his life. He lost his beloved uncle. He lost his beloved uncle Hamza in the war right in front of him, got slaughtered. But the vision did not stop. The work toward vision did not stop. He did not complain to his Lord, why me? He even been given a news that your daughter's son, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, will be slaughtered. Imagine we know our kid's going to be slaughtered after a few years. We will die before we even die. Is the most painful thing we can do. The most painful news we can ever have in our life that been given about the future. But still, he did not go into sorrow to think about this and stop his vision to go, I'm in a depression, I'm going to stop work, I need a break. He didn't even say anything like this, and he continued. He got more passionate about his job, which was given by Allah, and not only them. We all here, every single human come to on this earth, come for the same job. It wasn't the job of the prophet. We have to remove that excuse from our brain that the prophets were special. Yes, they were special in the eye of Allah. Yes, they were special in some kind of terms, but they did the same job as the human. They suffer the same emotion as we do, and they given you a solution. If the prophet were the prophet and their example don't apply on us, then we shouldn't be following the deen of Allah. Because if they were not for me, why would I follow their deen? The only difference is they used to get the revelation, and yes, they were free from the sins. Apart from that, the same struggle, same strategy on the human psychology, on the human brain, human heart. They used to do everything. They used to have everything similar like us, and the situation like us, similar hardship like us, and they apply, and the solution will be the same what they actually applied. But the problem is we don't even go toward them for the solution. We found our own ways. We think we are more smart than them. We actually know. So Yusuf alayhi salam going one problem to having a little bit comfort and then going to another big problem now. And now remember, now this is a very big problem he go into himself, which we will study why, because even he's been proved innocent, but he's still gonna be in a trouble. And we will discuss this in the next session, inshallah. I close my statement here. Inshallah, see you all next Sunday. Anyone wants to add now, feel free to add it. Okay, let's wrap it up, please.
Yeah, I think we'll just wind up. That was a very good session with very well researched, mashallah, alhamdulillah. And let's do, everyone, please, if you just try to go through the verses and do your research on the verses which we have told you. It would be like from 23rd or 24th verse until 48th verse in the next session, inshallah. So
29 to 40.
29th, okay, 29 to 48. So we will delve deep into it, inshallah, in the next session. Okay, so we'll just wind up now. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullah.